Sorry, there seem to be some serious network issues today. Um, but I believe we can do this, and I believe that we can um, get it right. So let's see, let's try this again. Our guest is here. Okay, thanks for joining back. Thank you. So hopefully this works this time. To come through, and I believe and I hope that this pulls through. Thank you for joining, Hossein. Thank you for being here. Canada Cargo. We're just trying to get connected with our guests here. Still not working. Okay. I wonder what is going on. Thank you, Dixon, for joining. Thank you guys for being here. Finally. Finally. Yes, we did it. Okay. Whew. To be honest, guys, I almost had a mini heart stop there. Thank you, Jane. Thank you for being here. we should do on network and say network, which means. Thank you, Robert, for joining. We just got our guest on, so don't worry, you haven't missed much. Network was trying to mess us up, but we're grateful to God that we're here and that we're able to pull this off. So thank you, Jane, for coming, and thanks for choosing to be here today to spend this time with us. For you, it's Sunday evening. For me, it's Sunday afternoon. But thank you for being here. So without much ado, I'm just going to go straight in. Thank you all again for being here and for being patient as we try to get the connection going. I hope I haven't lost her, Jane. Have I lost you?
I'm here.
Okay. So, all right. So this is Undoing the Culture of Silence series. And by God's grace, I'm hoping that I can do this at least once a month. If I don't, y'all don't roast me, please. I am a super busy person. But I will try to make this at least once a month. And I want to speak to two pieces of, issues that really speak to my heart that I have personally experienced. And I just want to have us have these discussions on them and, find a way to do better as a people and as a culture. And that is all things related to rape and sexual abuse and all things related to mental health. If you've been through any kind of trauma before, then you know that traumatic experiences come with mental health issues. And that's why I choose to speak to those two things directly. And one of the things I was saying earlier was that I don't want to have to do this all alone. There are people who have been playing in this field longer than I have. And there are people who, have also been experts, in dealing with these things. And I choose to, bring them on to sometimes educate us all. I am still on a journey myself, so I need to learn, but I want us to all learn together, and we all see what we can do to make this, end. If you find someone who is suffering, you know how you can help them, you know how you can be a part of their healing journey. And that's why we have Jane today. Jane is the founder and director of SaveAchildMission. And people believe me when I tell you that they have been doing some, very, serious work in protecting the rights of children in our country, Nigeria. And it's not just about the work, but it's just even the sincerity of heart that Jane and her crew works with that really amazes me. So I'm just going to let Jane tell us more about herself today. So Jane, can you just tell us a bit about yourself and about SaveAchildMission?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much. Like, I'm so honored to be the first person to, for us to have this. Thank you so much for that. Like, I really do appreciate it. Okay.
You're welcome.
I'm Jane Ugwumadu, director of SaveAchildMission. I'm a lady who believes that everyone has a responsibility, has a duty to promote the good living in the society. So I believe everyone needs to come together. I so much believe in, we coming together to do something, because one person is just not enough to do anything. So the more we come together, the more active and positive results we can get. So I so much believe in that, and that's what has been helping me through my journey in life. I try as much as possible in my own little way to bring people together who understand what we need to do, people that understand why we need to do it. So it's like a gradual process for me, trying to get the right people on board, because, as the journey is going, we have to like sieve out some people, because some people are not really, they're not really sincere with what they actually say they want to do. So right now, life is a journey for me, and I'm a married woman. I'm married. This year is 10 years. I've been married. I have 3 kids.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was 10 years in for you.
Yeah. So I have 3 daughters. And yeah. I graduated in University of Lagos. I read accountancy. What again? Jane loves being me. I love being me. Like, I love being direct. I love saying it as it is, without, trying to filter it. So it's just me. And I always love to go to, as in, I love going directly to what I really want to achieve in life, without any obstacle trying to come my way. So yeah. So about SaveAchildMission, it wasn't something in fact, I never knew I would even run such organization. It wasn't something I planned doing. It wasn't at all. It came as an inspiration, if I have to put it that way. It just came to me. I don't know what I'll call it, but it wasn't something I want to do, or I dreamt of doing. I don't know if you understand that line I'm going to. So
yeah, for sure.
Right from when I was growing up, I've always loved going out, meeting children. Like during my birthdays, I don't even, my family don't see me at home. I go out and, I celebrate with the children out there and all of that. So I've been someone that grew up with, going out and, getting children together. So it's something that's been in me. And one day, I felt so off. I don't know why, but I felt so off. And the next thing that came to my mind was Save a Child. And I was like, I don't understand, but I felt like a that hole that is in my heart. I felt it like filled. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
that was it. I met some people, like my sister. I asked her, I don't know how I'm gonna go about this, but I want to start something for children, and it will be called Save a Child Mission. And she encouraged me immediately. She said, "Okay, you just need to start up a Facebook group and all of that." And just so that was it.
Okay. And Aaron, you know that today, and this was how many years ago, if you don't mind me asking?
For Save a Child Mission is 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years.
And I do know that as at today, Save a Child Mission has well over 2,000 followers. And yes, I am one of them, probably so. And so in the last 3 years, I believe that a lot has happened, right? And I also do know that you do have another movement that you lead. So Save a Child Mission, I'm guessing, started for you as out of your love for children. But then there's also rape, which way? So how did that come into the picture? Was it before Save a Child Mission or was it after Save a Child Mission? Can you tell us about that?
Starting wasn't anyone that comes across it and say, "Oh, Jane, you're starting an organization. How many children do you want to save?" That's the regular questions I always get. And how many children do you think you can save? But I said, I don't know. I don't have all the capacity. I don't even have, I'm just a regular human being.
Yeah, you know, I can give you an answer to that. When anybody asks you that,
I want to start.
Just tell them one child at a time. That's the number.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you know, then people weren't understanding what I want or what I want to achieve, you know, but I had just few people who came on board. And, you know, we just had to do what we have to do, like the little way we can, by reaching out, creating awareness, campaigns, and all of that. So we started growing in numbers. We started going to, you know, having people in different states who have to organize events in their states and all of that. So Save a Child Mission then and now, I can only say it's God. How I've been able to manage all of this. Just God.
Okay. All right, thank you. So in Save a Child Mission, what kind of services then do you offer to kids? I know you talked about the events that you handle at different states across the country, and there are state coordinators that work with you, and this is all volunteer, right? Everybody volunteers their time, their resources, their energy to do these things, all right? And, you know, I learned something today at church, which is that commitment will always take something from you. So these are people who are committed to this mission, to this vision, and they operate in each of these states. But so what are some of the events that you do or the programs that you run for these children? And is it always the same across every state, or do they sometimes, you know, play out differently?
Okay. What people really don't understand about my mission is that we don't just create a project. Can you hear me? We don't just create a project. We do it according to inspiration. You know, the message we get and all of that. So we do on February, we do visitation to the sick children, critically sick children, who their parents are unable to offset their hospital bills. So we go there, we go around to hospitals, we meet doctors and ask them, do you have children here who are critically ill and their parents are unable to pay? So they give us the names of the child, we go visit them, then we help them, who donate. Yeah. Then May, we do a 1-hour walk called Protect My Innocence. Anything we do it across the states where we have coordinators.
simultaneously?
So,
Yeah.
yes, so we do it across the states that we have coordinators. September we do back to school projects. Yeah, we have back to school projects. December we do charity outreach. We do a charity party for the children. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's great. That's great to hear. And these are the different avenues through which you spread the message of how you help these children and how you seek to meet the needs of children who are either neglected or are from low-income homes, or kids who in some extreme cases are in abject poverty. And these are all very laudable experiences. But as I know that others here may not be aware of, is that beyond all of the charity experiences and everything else that you do for these kids, there's also a stream of kids that you're also particularly interested in, and that is kids who are sexually abused, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What has the experience and exposures and things that you have seen there? What has that been like? I mean, children getting abused, what does that look like for a child?
Sorry, what did you say?
I said, can you tell us a little bit about some of the experiences you've had or seen with children who are sexually abused? What has that looked like for you, and so, some of the work that you've done there?
It's been a crazy journey though.
I can imagine.
Every day we see different things. Like, that moment when you say, oh, I've seen it all, and the next day you will say, oh, so many things are happening,
Did we lose you?
They have no one to go report to and explain what they're going through, or they might not even believe them. So these children are so vulnerable that it's really the reason why these people that want to abuse children, they freely do it, and they freely escape it. So it's something that it's not been an easy journey though, but we have tried our possible best to help children who have been sexually abused. And I said earlier, I don't do it just to me. I bring people on board. I bring organizations on board because it makes it faster. It makes the justice system faster for that child. So yeah.
Okay. So and I'd like to talk a little bit about that justice system. How has that journey been in trying to bring people to justice who are pedophiles, because that's what they're called, right? People who sexually abuse children are called pedophiles. How has it been, trying to bring pedophiles to justice within the Nigerian system? And in your experience, trying to, bring perpetrators to justice on behalf of children, how has that been?
It's really not. The justice system, I think we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. I totally broke down last month on a particular case which we were fighting about a child that was sexually abused, And the next thing we saw was that the person went back to the streets. It was crazy, but really, justice system, I just pray and I really hope that justice system in Nigeria will improve. They will take this very serious, because they should just take it serious. So I just hope for a better tomorrow. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, now we can.
Okay.
Okay. So the last we heard was we pray for a better system. Was that it?
Yes. We pray for a better system.
Okay. And so while our justice system is still very whack, and it's been a journey to have to be able to bring perpetrators to justice, what are some of the impacts that you'll say you've seen, sexual abuse on children? What are some of the things that you've seen that impacts children who are sexually abused?
Sorry, what are things that impact children?
Yeah, what are some of the impacts that sexual abuse can have on these children? And even especially because they can't even get justice, right? So let's even put the justice talk aside. But what are some of the impacts that you've seen or that sexual abuse can have on children?
It takes a whole lot on these children, on their mental well-being, their mental being. It affects them. Sometimes you see these children, they go off key, like you'll be talking to them and the next thing they start saying something entirely different. They just go off key. So it's affecting them on their mental state. Then it's also making them withdraw from the society. You see these children, they don't mingle with their peers, they don't play, they don't joke, they don't, interact well with their peers. So it's affecting them so much, both psychologically, both physically. Like, it's really crazy. And I just hope that this sexually abuse, they get this right counseling that will help them go through this journey.
Okay, thanks. And speaking on counseling, is that something that your organization offers to children? Or do you work with other organizations that offer those services? That if someone knew a child who was sexually abused, and let's even say for any reason they're not able to bring the perpetrator to justice, but then they want to help that child move forward from that experience and not let the experience define them, and they need counseling. Is this something your organization offer, or they work with other organizations to offer those services?
Yeah, we do contact organizations that are specifically into that, to because we believe it has to be a professional counselor. So we do contact these organizations and they help these children through that process.
Okay, do you mind sharing with us what some of those organizations are that maybe you've contacted in the past to help in providing professional counsel to children who've been sexually abused?
Yeah, we have Mirabel Center. They have been doing a whole lot and they're really doing great in that aspect. We have Sisi Yara. Then we have Women of Inestimable Values. They're really trying in their own aspect too. We also have DSVRT. DSVRT, they've been trying to. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good to know. And I believe that, like you said earlier, that this isn't a fight that has to be done by an individual. Different people have to come together and join this fight. So it's really good to see that. And the reason I'm asking this, I know some of those organizations. I'm asking it for the benefit of our viewers and those who will listen to this later on. And the reason I'm asking this is that I know sometimes people tend to give up hope because they're under this assumption that they really can't find help for children anywhere. And so you see people just, deal with the pain of watching their child get sexually abused or even physically abused or any form of abuse. And they try to deal with these things on their own, thinking that there is nowhere they can go for help. But the Nigeria of, and I like to believe that, for people like me, when we were kids and we had these experiences, I like to think that I'm sure even as far back as then, there was some form of hope or organization or someone that could have helped us. But because we didn't know that, right, we suffered in silence. Yeah. And then when these things came back to bite us in our adult life, then we're trying to deal with it. But the reason I want us to know that there are organizations that are doing this kind of work and you can find help is so that if you find someone who's going through something, some of these organizations, they operate on all ends of the spectrum, from helping to fight for the justice of that child. SaveAchildMission helped with the justice piece as well, to providing that child counsel, to providing even the caretaker of that child counsel, right? And I just want us to know that these things are available. You don't have to suffer in silence. And you don't have to try and, keep quiet about those experiences, but help children who are in this space, find healing. The earlier, the better, rather than wait for them to become adults and try to figure this out on their own. So Jane, I'm going to ask you, in some of your work and everything, and particularly even relating to sexual abuse of children, can you just maybe share one of the most bizarre cases you've ever touched on or experienced or seen?
Yeah. It's about this recent one.
Okay.
Because he's a popular, he's someone that is a popular, personality, perhaps in that way. The community they are so scared to speak up, and the community are known for there are some groups there that are known for violating women and girls in that community, mostly widows and children,
Wow.
So it was a real. I had to bring so many organizations to this thing. I had to contact so many of them, almost like 9 to 10 organizations, because I feel we need to join hands together on this particular one. And every one of the organizations, they brought their A game to raise. But it was a challenging one, because we had someone, we call them rape enablers. We had someone that wanted to bribe so that the case will be brought down, will be dropped, and in fact, it's crazy. So it was really a challenging one. The child's family, they are from this poor background. The father of the child is scared to even proceed to, join hands with us to find justice for the child, because he's scared of his life, the threats coming in.
Wow.
So it's just been up and down for now, but I believe at the end of it, that child will have justice.
I believe so too.
And we would also help ensure that she's being helped mentally. We try as much as possible to guide her through in life, because it was a devastating one, and it wasn't the first time. This particular person has been doing it consistently with her, but someone just found out, and that was how we got to know. The girl was threatened not to speak up, not to tell anyone. So we can imagine the trauma that child would have been going through.
Yep.
So that's the case we are in, and it's a challenging one, very, because people that we thought should be the one to speak up and against such thing are being the one that are even supporting this evil. So it's really not good at all. So I just have hope that we'll finally come out good.
Oh, so again, I guess it still comes back to the justice system, and one area that I know that I would definitely for sure like to interview someone on is someone who is in the legal field in Nigeria, and maybe they can educate us on what our constitution has to say and what kind of constitutional rights and protection does the kids have within the country. But that will be something that we can definitely look at a different time on this series. But one thing you mentioned that I want to hone in on, rape enablers. Who are they? What are they? What do they look like? What does it mean for someone to be a rape enabler? I hope I'm saying that right. You know what I mean? So what does that mean?
Why they're being called rape enabler is because they see these things. Do you get? They cover up the traces. They support they support these perpetrators. So it's to me, I believe rape enablers are same thing with being a rapist, because for you to support somebody that is doing such thing, that means the person is equally. Do you get? Yeah.
So what if it's just a mother who is scared for so let's say it's a case where maybe it's a family member, right, that has raped a child or assaulted a child or molested a child, and maybe for the peace of the family's sake, such maybe a mother comes to an awareness of what's going on and she refuses to speak up for maybe, just so she doesn't have any issues within the family. Does that also make someone of that nature a rape enabler as well?
In fact, family members, most of them are rape enablers. Family members, relatives, cousins, like people around you. 90% of them are rape enablers, because they try to think about themselves and not about the person that was, abused. They want to cover up their name because they don't want to taint their name or whatever. They have so many excuses, which I don't even think is even worth it in any way. Do you get? So 90% of people within that space, like that environment, are rape enablers.
Okay, I think we're breaking up. Okay, Jane, I think we're kind of losing you. It's really breaking up. Okay, so we're going to have Jane come back in. Guys, I hope you've been enjoying the conversation so far. Please let us know what you think. Leave a comment. Tell us know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions for Jane, for me, please leave it in the chat. So while we wait for her to join us back, we're sorry. There's really not much we can do about the network, but still, we're sorry that it's happening. I wish it wouldn't happen. So far, some of the things we're learning is that, and I'll start from where we left off with Jane, is please, 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 do not be a rape enabler. You're part of the problem if you don't speak up. If you see something wrong, please speak up. You become part of the problem when you don't. And also, while we still are in the struggle of, putting a nice justice system together in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, please, the least we can do is make sure that on the other end, there's the mental health of a child at stake. There is the psychological health of a child at stake, and you want to do whatever you can. We've heard some of the organizations that help with offering free professional services to kids who have been sexually abused or molested at any point. And we want to make sure that, however you can connect these children to a professional help or to offer that knowledge to their family members, please, you want to do that. Okay, so why can't the authorities waiting to the case mentioned by Jane about the village that a popular musician reside? That will be a Jane question as soon as she comes back in. But again, sometimes some of these cases, I don't know if you heard mention that he tried to bribe his way through. So sometimes we have those experiences where people just bribe their way through. And, we all know how things are with the Nigerian system. It's so broken that even in a murder case situation, or even something as grievous as this, people will take money and look the other way. It's a sad experience, and I wish it didn't happen, but unfortunately it does happen. And that's why some of us, keep talking about these things. That's why these organizations keep doing whatever they can to fight this menace. Okay, I think we still haven't found Jane. I'm just gonna shoot her a text here, guys, and see what's going on. And also with Jane's organization, I'm honing in on the sexual abuse piece, but please, this is an organization that deals with not just sexual abuse for children, but also they seek to look after the entire welfare of children. And what the services that they offer to these children include everything from experiences with physical abuse, child trafficking, child sexual abuse, molestations, and whatnot. So as long as it has anything to do with children, Save a Child Mission is very committed to that. So if you reside in Nigeria and you want to maybe be a part of this, please feel free to check them out on Facebook. They're on Facebook at Save a Child Mission. They're on Instagram at Save a Child Mission. And you can always check out with Jane as well on Facebook or on Instagram at Jane Ugwumadu. I still haven't heard from her yet. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So I got the requests back from Jane now, and hopefully we have better connection and she will be joining us. Hi, Bidemi. Hi. Thank you for coming. We have learned a lot already, but don't worry, you can always check out the replay of this. And we're just waiting for Jane to connect back with us. We lost her just a moment ago here. Oh, we lost it again. Hi, Dipri. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's see if we have her back in now. Yes, we do. Please work. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost her again. She was in for a quick second there, and then we lost her again. Okay.
I'm here. Can you see me?
Oh, you're here. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, sorry, it has to be that because I have to come out. Inside, I can't get network. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you for trying against all odds. And that is the tenacity with which she fights, you guys. It's the tenacity with which she fights. I can tell you one thing. I mean, I don't go out in the streets, but I know how draining it feels sometimes just hearing people's stories and, just sometimes chatting with people about their experiences. I know how draining it feels. So I can begin to imagine, how you, Jane, and the people you work with, I can begin to imagine how you guys must feel taking on all of this emotion when you physically go out and you see these children, and like even just sometimes thinking about it almost brings tears to my eyes, and so it takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of, honestly, for anyone who doesn't believe in God, I don't know how you don't believe in God. I do, because I know that there are some things you just cannot do outside of God. It takes strength beyond you as a human being to pull these things off and to keep fighting, on things like this. So that same tenacity is what she's brought in today, that she's not letting the network get in her way, and we appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so you had a question shortly after you were disconnected, and the question was, why did the authorities in that place you were talking about, why didn't the authorities step in on behalf of that child and that family?
Do we have authorities? That is what we have to ask ourselves. I personally contacted these authorities that I thought they would swiftly, respond to that. But you need to see the way I was, like, bumper to bumper. Let me use that word. Bumper to bumper. I had to follow them bumper to bumper, giving them back-to-back calls, messages, chats.
Wow. Wow. But at this,
We don't have authorities that are working 247. We have authorities just by name, not by what they do. Like, they need to bring their A game on this, but I'm not saying it. It's so sad. That is why it's so sad. Like, I'm not saying it.
Wow. And I did mention that it's also possible, you had said earlier that they bribe their way through, right, with some of these things too. And I mean, the perpetrators bribe their way, and there's no telling that sometimes they'll probably bribe the authorities too. And,
Okay, this was not,
some of the family.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This was not even the perpetrator bribing. This was someone that is close to the perpetrator that is bribing, that wants to bribe. Wow. So you can imagine community too. The guy, that particular person, he's well known in doing such thing. They said that was not the first time he's doing that. So you can imagine, how won't such perpetrator keep doing it? How won't other people keep doing what, how would, it's crazy.
And I guess that's one of the dangers. Yeah, and I guess that's one of the dangers of enabling people who do these things that you mentioned earlier, right? Is that when you keep quiet on it, then you give them the power to keep doing more.
Exactly. That is why we have a long way to go in this.
Okay, and so for any individual out there, for people who are watching this, for anybody who's going to see this later, or for anybody out there who's wondering to say, okay, this issue is so huge, and I don't know what I can do, or I don't know what role I'm supposed to play. What role can any individual play in trying to bring this issue of child sexual abuse, of rape, to even if not to a complete zero? And honestly, we all should have zero tolerance for such menace. But even if not to a complete zero, what can any individual do to make it better?
Everyone in their own space needs to do what they have to do. They need to try and do something. It can either be sharing a post you see online, maybe by where you see referral centers, sexual abuse referral centers. You can share it on your timeline. It will help somebody out there. Or in your family, have you called your family? Have you called your family together? Have you talked to them about this? Have you talked to them about the increase in sexual abuse, how they can stop it, how they can report? That is doing your own bit in your own space. Have you thought about you know, joining organizations in your community through awareness campaign? That is something. We don't need to have it all before we can add our voice to this. If we all
Yeah.
reach out to everyone, and people will keep joining, talking about it. But if someone, the problem I also see is that when something happens like this, a sexual abuse is being reported or whatever, you know, some people get less consent. They'll be like, it's none of my business because it didn't affect my family. It's not my family member. Or it might be. So everyone needs to know that they can do the little way they can in their own space. You can type something and just say stop child abuse or stop sexual abuse on your timeline. It can speak to someone out there. It can speak to someone out there.
Right.
I've seen there are several times I've posted on my timeline and someone will just come inbox and say, oh, thank you, Jane, for what you just said. Now I've learned something. Now I've learned I have to do something. Now I've learned I have to call my family together and talk to them and you know, create that awareness in my environment. It's something. So everyone has it, but yeah, some people are being told, you know, they neglect all of this, and that is why it's increasing. Nobody's talking about it. So we that are doing it, I think we just need to double our, you know, let's double it, let's triple it, our efforts, so that we can reach wider people out there and let them see the need why we have to do it.
Exactly. And another reason why I even thought to start with you also is just so that we can hone in on the foundation. Children are sort of the foundation, or the childhood stage is the foundational stage for adulthood, right? And you know, if we can, you know, protect our children, and I like the other campaign that you have, which is Protect My Innocence. If we can work well at protecting the innocence of children, and as they're growing, we're equipping them with the knowledge and skills that they need to know to protect themselves, you know, from any perpetrator in the future. It kind of like changes the conversation a bit from that foundational stage, and hopefully we have less messed up adults, because these things really mess up a person. Right, and hopefully we can have that. So there's a comment here that I'd like to read from Kidstainment Hub, and it says the major problem we have in Nigeria is corruption and man no man, and that is so true. All right, I remember the case where a friend of mine and I were living together, and we were almost gang raped and killed, and thankfully it didn't happen. I came in a little later than they anticipated, and it was I just missed it by just this much. And my friend, on the other hand, unfortunately, was home, and stark naked, she jumped up from a story building and across into a store where someone helped her, gave her, you know, something to cover up with. And we found out who they were. We took them to the police, and the next day they were released. Not because of anything, but because their dad knew somebody at the station, I think the DPO. Thankfully, I also had somebody who knew the area commander of that region, and that really helped boost the case. Now, it was sad that I have to know someone to get the justice that we needed. It was really sad, you know, but to your point, that it's man no man, it's sad. You know, I can imagine if we didn't know anyone to help at the time. God knows, in fact, it was so much so that when they released this boy, they told us to not even dare sleep in that house because they are coming back for us. And so, you know, in that fear was when we started making every call we could. You know, and thankfully we got someone who had higher powers that we appealed to, and they were back in cell, and then they signed an undertaking that if anything as much as touches us, they are goners. And that was our saving grace, as it were. So imagine what could have become of us if we didn't have that. So thank you. But again, we're grateful that it didn't happen, because that's one of the reasons why I am here. People like Jane and I were here, and we will continue to speak to this. And then the other thing is that, funny enough, the more the rapists or pedophiles are exposed, the more cases we keep having. Jane, have you seen, is that the experience you've had? Is that, would you say that is true? And if it is, where do you think that is?
It's a very true statement.
So why is that?
That's why we don't know. That's why we don't know. It's crazy daily.
Or is it maybe because as more people are getting aware that they can speak up, maybe we're having more people speak up? Can that be part of it? Or does COVID have anything to do with it?
Yeah, people are speaking up. People are speaking up. And people are seeing and are observing what is happening. People would want to know, did something tangible come out of this? Did that person actually get that justice? They are seeing it, they're observing it. And when they find out that nothing can be done to that perpetrators, they will do it. Do you understand? They will do it. So the more people are speaking up and they see that nothing is being done to that perpetrators, the people that are having that mindset to do it, they will now be so free to do it. So that is the reason why it's increasing. Or when someone is being, or when someone is being sexually abused and speaks, and speak out, just go to social media and you will see the way people are insulting that same person that was being abused. So when they see something like that, they will feel that even if we do it, nobody can question us, nobody can do anything to us. We will still go free. So that is why it's increasing.
Wow. So, and that's a very good perspective, to be honest. I personally never even really thought of it from that perspective. I kind of noticed that too, that it's like the more we're having these conversations, the more cases seem to, come out, but I guess you're right, because we're not exactly seeing people come to book and face the music face the consequences of their actions. We're seeing more people get more emboldened. So I guess even as a society, then it's safe to say that we have a society of rape enablers too, who tend to, support directly or indirectly these actions by either further victimizing the victim or the survivor, or by choosing to say nothing, or authorities refusing to do their bid and bring people to justice. So we have another comment saying the reason why it's increasing is that intended rapists learn more ways to carry out their intentions, knowing fully well that they can buy their way out easily. Exactly. And that's the point that you just raised. It's sad, but okay. So then our time is almost up here, and I know we had trouble starting. But we'll try and still keep to we'll try and still maybe wrap this up as soon as we can. But before you go, Jane, I noticed something. So this is a scenario. Let's say I live in a place and I notice a child I notice something is up with a child, right? And maybe they're being abused or something. And this can be any form of abuse, physical, sexual, sometimes verbal, emotional abuse that people dole out on kids. And I noticed that I'm not comfortable. I want to do something about it. What do I do? Can you walk me through the steps I need to take to help that child in Nigeria?
Okay, first step is report it to the police station.
Okay.
Report it to the nearest police station. Okay. And it's a welcome development that we are now having sexual abuse referral centers in these stations. So it's very easy for such person to be helped. So the first thing is just to go to the nearest police station. That's the first step. Then the second step is to guide that child. Guide that child. We have a responsibility for that. Let's talk to that child. You as the person who is observing, who have seen what is happening to that child. make that child feel comfortable, make that child feel worthy.
Yeah.
We can do it on our own paths. We need to have a one-on-one, like we need to just create that scenario where this child will feel comfortable with us.
Okay.
Hello, are we here?
Yes, we're together.
Okay.
So go to the police station and then help the child feel comfortable.
Yes. Then it depends on the situation. Sometimes the parents or the family members have threatened that child not to speak up. So it's the person's duty to make sure that that child is also safe. As you've gone to the police station to report, we have organizations you can reach out to that they can quickly, those organizations I mentioned earlier, that can quickly, they would quickly respond. But first of all, the person has to do a report at the police station before continuing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've heard people, we all can do something. We all can do something in our own spaces, between anywhere from educating people within your group to, helping them understand the ills around sexual abuse and how they can also be a voice for people who are suffering, to sharing. You see something, when I post something good, you better share it. I'm talking to you like I talk to my teenagers now. When you see something Jane shares, please share it. You see something that, an organization posts, share it. You just never know who might need it at that moment. You see, sometimes there are uneducated people that might live around us and they don't know what to do. Sometimes they do it out of ignorance too. People enable rapists out of ignorance too sometimes. Educate them to say, Madam, you want to speak up on this, let your child get help. And whatever you can do to make the life of any child better, whatever you can do, be it, if you live in Canada, by the way, if you live in Canada and you're in Regina precisely, shoot me a message. Let's talk about, a back to school pack that we're working on in Regina for Indigenous kids who are in low income areas. That's one way that sometimes you can help, you can contribute. If you're in Nigeria, please check out SaveAchildMission. I am not one to promote organizations usually because sometimes I'm almost appalled by the way these organizations act out of, they on the front, it looks like they're doing something, but it's really just all about the photo ops, and it's just a money making mechanism. So I'm always very careful with organizations that I follow or would say promote. So, but please, SaveAchildMission, they're out there, they're raw and out there. You don't want to know some things that someone like Jane has suffered or endured personally, to just because you're doing this kind of work. The threats that sometimes they get, yes, they sometimes even get death threats, from people because nobody wants to be exposed, but every darkness that, surrounds this topic will bring it to light, because believe me when I tell you that there's a new sheriff in town that seeks to undo this culture of silence. And I just want to say again, thank you so much to everyone that took time out to be here. Thank you, Jane. Oh, and there's one more comment here. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for this Connect Kidstainment Hub. Thank you for the topic. Anita, wish you can invite another one to come talk about child marriage. It's also one way that adults feel free to be intimate with minors. So thank you. I will look into that. I actually will look into that. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you again, Jane, for being here. I really, really appreciate you. This is not the end of the discussion. We will always have, opportunities to share more and to talk more about this, and we'll continue to do the work that we do. Thank you so much. Any last words before we go?
Yeah, I just want to tell people out there, we all can really and truly impact positively